right, we ready?
Yeah.
We are ready.
You're ready.
We are rolling. So I want to thank you for joining the Three Brothers Podcast. You are this week's Hidden Gem. I know we talked with you earlier today. We didn't get too much what a hidden gem was, but typically we try to highlight somebody from the area, mostly, that are just impacting the community in some capacity. And so you've been getting it done for quite a while. So to our audience that's watching this, we are meeting today with Tara Mosley Weems. And boy, what a firecracker.
Yeah.
Tara, I am the moderator of the Three Brothers Podcast. I'm Alan Manley. This is my brother, Phil Manley, and this is our brother, Jay Brophy. And together we make up Three Brothers Podcast. So we have had you on our radar forever. I think you know that.
Yeah.
And what we know you're busy. We appreciate what you do in and around the city of Akron. So thank you for taking some time to meet with us today. We really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem at all.
Yeah. So listen, we got a ton of questions for you. What I want to start off with is kind of based on the voting results from the other night, where we just had a blue crush across the nation. And I just want to get your take on it. What do you think the recent election says about the direction of our country and the Democrats in particular? What do you think? That did we make a statement or what?
Oh, definitely made a statement. And I don't believe that they've really done a great job at highlighting how many seats we won across the country.
Mm-hmm.
There's this focused, on New York, Virginia, and New Jersey, but from Michigan to Texas to Louisiana, we talk about Prop 50 out in California. We crushed it.
Yeah.
We crushed it. And I think it's just a referendum on Trump. Okay. It is referendum. People they're tired of it. They're tired of it. They don't want to hear anything else about this madness going on in DC. They want somebody who's going to be effective for the people. That's my belief.
Yeah.
Do you think it's MAGA flipping, or do you think people that were sort of ambivalent decided to get up and go vote?
I think it's a combination of both. I think a lot of those individuals who believed that Trump was going to make America great again, and they found out that the America that he's talking about does not include them. And so they're having to swallow a hard pill because they follow him not once but twice.
Right.
And now they're really feeling the grunt of it, and they're saying that he lied to them. He didn't lie. He told you all exactly what he's going to do. He told them. And I just think that this is just, I believe, just the beginning of what we're about to head into the midterms.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
This midterm election is going to be, I don't even know how to put it into words. I think it's going to be the telltale, which, of course, trying not to be a conspiracy theorist, it started making me wonder about this presidential election that we just had. Did Kamala really lose that much? Because to see what is going on now in these places where they're saying she lost, and to just watch how these women came out and voted like crazy for other women. We've got 14 women governors now. Here's the problem with that. None of them are black. Not one black woman. Not one.
Well, the only was the one running on the other side.
Oh yeah, but she was a Trumper. She just
not
all your kinfolk is your kinfolk ain't your kinfolk, y'all. Come on, we you can't. We don't want to say that, but that's something that I think
we got Tara Mosley Weems.
So and I'm hoping that Keisha Bottoms does really well in Georgia. She's polling really well. It'll be nice to see if she gets in that seat, but they're definitely going to attack. They have to figure out a way to keep the majority as much as possible, but I don't believe that they're going to be able to do it. I believe that America is sick and tired already, and we're not even a year in.
Right.
And we've got, oh my God, 3 more years of this madness.
Right. My concern on that is the 26 elections. What will he do? Or what is he capable of doing to try to screw all that up? I mean,
he's absolutely going to try. I mean, even today he came out and said it. He's going to make people show ID to get their groceries.
Right.
How insane does that sound? You know, I think that they will absolutely try to lean into these states where Republicans hold the Secretary of State's offices, because he's going to be trying to figure out a way to maintain power.
Right.
I think the beauty of it is, thank God, is not even the Republicans who support him will support him being the president forever. You know, thank God for that, because that's what he would really want to do, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure about that. I hope you're right,
Well,
but I haven't seen much of a backbone for those Republicans, except for, quite frankly, Marjorie
Taylor Greene.
which is the
Go
biggest
figure.
surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
thought she was going to start a domino effect, really, because she's
Well,
so,
she's already started it today.
Yeah.
So she's basically trying to get Mike Johnson overthrown as Speaker of the House. So she is on a rampage, because you know what happened? She went home to her district and she found out
right.
that even she's saying that she doesn't believe in QAnon anymore. She was one of those conspiracy theorists with that.
Yeah.
So now she's like, wait a minute, something's not adding up here. And so she says she's tired of the boys in DC having a pissing match with each other. She's saying she still supports Trump, but he's been making his rounds mad about, you know, she just went on The View. So he's livid about that. But I think once she was able to really sit and see those Epstein files, when they voted to bring it forward and they were supposed to open the files, which they have yet to do, I think that did something to her. And I believe that she, as a woman who has dealt with some things in her life as it relates to that, I think it was the ceiling kiss for her with this presidency.
That's a good point, because she's definitely got some passion about that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's not letting go of that, and she's all about women. I'll give her that. But you know, it's just hard when you see somebody for who they are, and then once they go to try to change gears, you still remember
Right.
because she did so much. It's like, how do you just do a whole entire 360 that quick? So, you know, maybe she got dealt with in her dreams or something, and maybe I don't know.
Well, I think that, like you said, the constituents and all, I think it even shocked her more than she even thought. That the pressure just came down. It's like she saw everybody saying, no, this isn't working, at least in her area. And she went, maybe she had a coming to Jesus or something. I don't know.
Something, yeah. I believe something happened, because, you know, at first she was supposed to run for the Senate. And then all of a sudden she backed off and she wasn't running for Senate anymore. And so now she had this bizarre interview on one of the news outlets where she said that if she ended up dead, she wasn't suicidal. And I was like, what?
Right? Yes, I saw that. Yes.
Yeah. And so that sounds, the Beltway is, you know, politics here is nothing compared to being in DC. People there have heart attacks all the time for no reason. It's just different. It's different in DC.
Fine one day and gone the next.
Yeah, you've got to have the strength to be there, because if you can't handle local politics, DC is not for you.
Right.
Well, let me ask you this, locally, because one of the things, we had a friend on a couple of weeks ago who's a Cleveland councilman, and one of the things that just turns his stomach is low voter turnout. And I know we experienced that, I'm going to say regionally, I don't want to just say Akron, but what can be done to curb that and to increase the voter turnout?
So it's two-pronged. It's not a one-all fix-all. First of all, you have to give a voter to want to show up. And you have to instill in them that there's an election every day. I think the problem is people worry about the presidential, but what they don't realize is if you don't focus on local, that's what's going to affect you more than anything. And a lot of people always, they worry about the shiny object, but they forget about the things that are really going to affect their household. And that's the local elections. But I also believe that we should get like in Oregon, they have a mail-in system. I think that if we had a voter mail-in system, I think the voter turnout would increase, because trying to find people on election day at that last minute, you have to have more than just having people at the polls handing out a sample ballot. If you don't start educating them ahead of time about the issues, and not being what I call a fair weather candidate.
Yeah.
If you run every 4 years and I don't see you for 3 of those 4 years, but when it's time for you to run for re-election, I don't really have no holler for you, because where have you been? I would want people to know who I am if they're going to vote for me, and not just because it's a re-election.
Yeah, I don't think people realize that they matter, that their vote counts. I mean, that's kind of.
Yeah, we get a lot of that, but to me, I believe now at this point in my juncture, I think it's just an excuse for them to have a reason when they don't show up. And it's just like now, there's so many people who have buyer's remorse, but we also have the non-voters remorse. People are upset. The government is shut down. There are people working, not being paid. Everyone's upset because TSA walked off the job. They wasn't getting paid. They got families to take care of too.
Right.
I mean, at some point, people are going to walk off their jobs if they're not getting paid. First of all, I don't want an air traffic controller controlling a plane flying on, and they've not been paid for a month.
Right.
Because you don't know where their mindset is at this point now, because they've not been paid. They can't feed their kids. They're probably having to take out payday loans. You don't know what's going through that person's mind. So when we talk about, there's a domino effect here for those who's like 30 million plus people who did not show up to vote this last election. There's some remorse going on now. So hopefully by the time we get to 2028, what we've seen in New York, we need to see in 2026 as well across the country. What we've seen in California for Prop 50, we need to see in 2026 leading into 2028, because we got a while before we get to 2028. If we just worry about 2028, we're in trouble come 2026.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I always say, and I really believe this, a lot of people, as far as voter remorse, only comes when it lands on your doorstep.
Yeah.
If it ain't affected you, well, I'm getting paid. I ain't worried about nothing.
Right.
And that's the problem.
But when it hits home, and all of a sudden you're going, what? My premiums tripled? I can't make it. I'm getting laid off. Then all of a sudden it matters. But I think a lot of people are that way.
Yeah, the thing about it is I've told my girlfriends this, and me and my best friend talk about this all the time. You don't got to do politics, but politics will do you.
Yeah.
Okay.
They will do you. And it's just like, you can sit home, and I talk about all of the Facebook and social media activists and politicians, but I've had people come after me when I take a stance on something, but I am that person who pull voting records. If you challenge me on some issues and I'm telling you that it's incorrect, I'm going to pull your and see when the last time you voted. And if the last time you voted was when Barack Obama ran, we have nothing to talk about. Right. We have nothing to talk about, because you've not paid attention to everything that has happened since this man left office. Yeah. A lot has transpired since then. Yeah. And we can't continue to if we continue down this road, what Trump and Project 2025 wanted and has implemented now will continue. They will have another book for 2026, 2027, and 2028. They're just going to keep their foot on the gas if we allow it to keep happening. So hopefully all those people who are so upset and they show up at the No Kings rally need to understand that has to happen every single day. It can't just be we're going to go out this week and we're doing No Kings rally, and then the next election something happens and then they're gone. If we continue to operate like that, we will continue to see Trump-minded people in office.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, how do you feel about just the unfairness that exists within, say, the Trump administration? Because you're right about voting and people doing whatever they can do from a community perspective, but MAGA doesn't play fair. And so the rules really, when you own the Justice Department, when you own the Supreme Court, the rules really don't apply. And the things that you want to do, even when you try to do them the right way, if you've got a president or an administration that is fine with breaking the law, as long as it,
He's refusing to
Yeah.
release the SNAP payments.
Yeah.
They told him, look,
You got to.
you got to.
Well, he could actually release SNAP benefits right now, even while they're in a shutdown. No other president has
He's
ever
ordered
done this
that.
except
He
for
just-
him.
he's still
He
not
says
done.
it depends on who he's going to allow to have something. And it's just, my husband says this all the time. He's the kid on the playground who has the ball. And as soon as somebody doesn't get along with him or doesn't let him play, he's taking his ball and going home. He's that person. This is who he is. So he's holding the White House and all that power that the commander-in-chief wields. He's holding it hostage for those people who will kiss the ring. You don't kiss the ring. Okay, now I'm going to penalize you. I'm going to fire you. I mean, he's got people he's brought into his administration, and as soon as they don't get along with him or agree with his madness, he fires them, and now they're dirt. I mean, this is what he's consistently done, and it's like, how many times does he have to continue to show people who he is before the people around him believe him? But again, power only yields to power. Right. And those people around him got some power because of him, and they're yielding to the power that he wields because, they like that power. Right. They are intoxicated by the power that they've been given because they're next to him. Mm. And it's unfortunate because they know he's doing wrong. And when I hear this Attorney General, was it Bondi, it's insane the things that she's been able to get away with because she's next to him.
Right, right.
Never in the history have I ever seen anything like that. Has anyone seen anything like it? And then you got this Hemsworth guy. Do you know, I heard on the news the other day, and they mentioned it on the Bill Maher show with Marjorie Taylor Greene. They asked her, did she know that the vice president, Hemsworth, and them are living on a military base? And she said, well, that was news to her. And she says, I want to know what they know that I don't know. Why are y'all living on a military base?
Wow.
The vice president, you said?
This past week, she's on the Bill Maher show, and they brought it up, and I was in shock. My husband's a veteran, so I ran and instantly told him. I was like, they're living on a military base. He said, oh, something going on.
Yeah, okay.
See, that's my point. I mean, 2024, Trump doesn't get elected, he's going to jail.
Right.
2028, the same thing is true. If he doesn't get elected, he's going to jail. And so he's not leaving office under normal circumstances. He is going to do something to disrupt the process, declare martial law, or, delay the election or something.
I think he'll go live in another country.
Well, listen, we'd be thrilled to have that. Yeah. We'll drop all charges if he just leaves.
Yeah. He's,
with you, brother.
I am concerned with who they're grooming to take his place. J.D. Vance is more dangerous than Donald Trump because he has youth and time on his side.
Yeah, and he's not an idiot. He's actually smart.
I'll be honest.
Well, he's a terrible liar though. He lies a lot, and he's a terrible liar. Yeah. So I don't know how long he'll last in that seat because his lies don't pass the muster test. He was just on the George Stephanopoulos show this past Sunday, and George Stephanopoulos cut him off in the middle of his lie and went to another subject, just stopped it. He's like, you're lying. And he went on to the next segment. And so I'm just more concerned about if this is the guy that you're grooming to take your place, and, he's running around here getting all the Charlie Kirk followers to follow him. That is a concern for this country. Everyone should be concerned about that.
Well, I'm concerned with the people that he has in his cabinet or he has hired, like the Cash Patels and all that. The only way those people can get the money and be in the positions they are by yielding to Trump and playing along with him because they wouldn't do it any other way. Yeah,
I'm still trying to figure out how Cash Patel got that job, but I mean, none of them should be in the positions that they're in. So it's just, this is what he has surrounded himself with: reality show hosts and people who will bow down to him. He needs people around him. He doesn't want anyone that's going to challenge him. Only one who challenges him is probably his wife. The rest of them aren't doing any of that.
Yeah, I'll be honest. As bad as it's been with Trump, I do not anticipate someone coming in and filling those shoes. I mean, Trump had clout, he had money, he had charisma. and it was just the perfect storm when he came, right? There were people, particularly right after the Obama that administration left office, that just felt like they were losing their country, and so Trump was just right on time. Now, if anyone would have concerned me, frankly, it would have been Charlie Kirk, because they would have funded Charlie. He had the youth. That's why he stayed at the college level.
On the college campuses, yeah. He stayed on the college campuses because that's where he was grooming them on those campuses with that
Turning point.
what I call rhetoric.
Underground, like a lot of people hadn't heard of Charlie Kirk, so he was.
Yeah, I mean, most of America didn't know who he was until he was assassinated. They had no idea who he was. They had no idea.
By the time he had been in position, he would have been so powerful. You'd be like,
like people like you and I, we are all in the know on the politics, and we pay attention, so we sort of kind of already knew who he was. Right. But even still, I didn't realize to the magnitude of how many young people were really following him. Right. And it was very concerning. I was like, whoa. But again, a lot of young people within his footprint, they wanted those Epstein files. And they started challenging him on it. They're like, we want those Epstein files open. And I believe there's a cause and effect to everything. Yeah. And there's going to be a lot of cause and effect to those Epstein files not being released. They're trying to get Prince Andrew to come to the United States to testify in front of Congress. And I was like, that's wild. That's wild that they're going to. I mean, he's been stripped of all of his powers. So he has no power at all. It's just really figurehead where they are anyway. But I don't know. For me, I think that we are primed to really, really make our presence known in 2026. However, the one thing that the Democratic Party has to do, they have to stop with this. Those are the socialists and that's the radical left. And then, we're still Democrats. We just have a different way of thinking. I am a progressive. I am a Bernie Sanders person. I was a surrogate for him. I was a delegate for him. That is my wheelhouse. Mandani, those are the people that are in my wheelhouse. However, unless you have the moderate Democrat, the centrist Democrat, understand that there is an appetite for the progressive. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter when people say the radical left. There's a reason why Mamdani went from 1% to winning that election on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. There's a reason why 90,000 people knocked on doors for him in New York. Mm-hmm. 90,000 people knocked on 3 million doors for him. Mm-hmm. There's a reason why centrist Hakeem Jeffries at the 11th hour decided to endorse him. He was up 25 points in the polls before Tuesday. Right. So it was like, but don't wait to the 11th hour. Don't threaten AOC and tell her she's going to ruin her political career if she supports this man. I mean, he's an unapologetic Muslim, and it's okay. I love every bit of it. Love it. Yeah. And the thing that does bother me, I will say, is the media where they always want to say this South Asian Muslim man. Yeah, right. He's from Uganda. Let's be real. He's from Uganda, and so it's just like, what? Oh, so you got to make it palatable to certain people. But he is being very, very honest about where he comes from, who his family is, and where his faith lies. And I love that about him. He's not wavering because he wants to be accepted by certain groups. People are accepting him because he's so authentic. And that's what is missing now. They are missing that within this party because you got people who are worried about position. Yeah. They're worried about power, and they want that money. And somewhere along the lines, they forget about that other P that put them there, and that's the people. And there's so many of them that forget about it, and it's so disappointing to watch because some of these elected officials across this country, I know them personally. I've either campaigned for them, I've sat on national boards with them, I've showed up to speeches and spoke in their behalf, but then to watch how they turn, and when that power and position gets to them. Yeah. And it's sad to watch because The people at the end of the day will get rid of you. They will get rid of you if they get tired of seeing you not do the things that you promised them. It happens every day. It happens there. I've seen people lose races that just a race in Cleveland. You couldn't have never told me Judge Scott was going to lose that race up in Cleveland. You wouldn't have told me she lost her race. I think Harrison lost his race in Cleveland. He had been on the county council up there forever. He lost his race. There are people losing races that you just would assume will be. Look what they're doing to Jasmine Crockett. They're drawing her out of her district.
Right, right.
Marcy Captor's probably going to be drawn out of her district. I mean, it's happening across the country. But again, Congresswoman Captor, she voted on some things that was very concerning to Democrats, especially progressive Democrats, and it's that wrong with them. And now she's going to pay the price for it. And that's unfortunate because they get in these silos with each other and they say, you can't do this. You got to preserve your seat. But what about those people who put you in that seat that you're trying to preserve?
Right.
Well, that's becoming that new Democratic Party.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
Exactly.
It really is. It's the problem. And the thing about it is so crazy is when I even think about just on a local level, because it's going on nationally, is, to be a Black Democrat. Woo! I'm telling you, it's a full-time job. We can't support our friends. Say if one of our friends is in a nonpartisan race and they look like me. If I was to decide to support someone in a nonpartisan race that looks like me, I am primed for being ousted from my party. However, they can have friends that they went to law school with, maybe went to high school with. They can be a straight R, not nonpartisan. And they'll say, well, I went to school with them. And it's accepted. They're not trying to oust them. That's where we've got to fix that part of our party because it's a problem. And then when you call it out, you become the bad guy. You're the person that, oh, there goes Tara, she on one of the rants. I'm just telling the truth.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell the truth, shame the devil. It's just the truth. We can't operate like that. And this is a reason why we have such a big independent party now, which I'm working on some things to write that right now. But I'm not going to talk about that right now because there's somebody right now probably listening will be like, ooh, I'm going to steal that from her. No, you're not. But we just got to do a better job of bringing people in. And if you're making people feel less than or making them feel like they're not worthy or they need to wait their turn, they just gonna sit home. Right. I remember when I first wanted to run for office before I did the first time, I remember them telling me, wait my turn. No, Tia, we need you to help some other people. It was always help some other people. It's always help some other people. But then when it was my turn, when I finally went to my family and said, no, I want to run, I shouldn't have to why am I asking for permission?
Yeah.
They never really given me anything. I've worked for everything. And so when I finally just put my foot down and ran, I ran and I won the first time out the gate and have won to go back to council every single time until I ran for mayor because I couldn't hold both. I couldn't run and be in my seat. And so, but we have to get to a point if we know that we have the desire to change the material conditions in our city, run.
Yeah.
Why are we waiting to get permission from anybody?
Yeah.
I don't need permission from anybody. And I'm a grown woman. And if I was a minor, I would have probably needed permission from my parents. I'm gonna ask my spouse, are they okay with it?
Right.
But I'm not about to go ask people who aren't even going to support me. Is it okay for me to run? Because they're always going to tell you no because they want you to be a helper.
Yeah.
Right.
They want you to be a helper. And at some point you still want to help people and bring other people along the way. But when is it your turn?
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll be here all day, y'all. Let's go.
I know it sounds like you got some things in the working though.
Ask about the shutdown, the government.
Oh, well, I actually, the concern that I had was just with regard to people in Akron and I guess surrounding communities, obviously. What is the impact that shutdown is having on our community? And what is it that we can do to maybe help those people that are in need?
The impact is being felt across the board. I had a young lady who inboxed me and she said her SNAP benefits didn't load. They had been getting text messages and emails saying that they were probably going to load because the Supreme Court said it was unconstitutional, but they haven't loaded. And she said, is there a way you can get us a box, maybe some meat, but there's certain people that I can call into some of these pantries and saying, hey, listen, I got a family, they don't have a car, can we get something to them? And as like Miss Kathy Wilkins over at Kathy's Kitchen, she is wonderful. She will put stuff together for me for a minute. She's like, the boxes are ready when you come in. And then I'm able to take stuff to them. The Patricia Ann Cargill food pantry over on Manchester Road, I have a young lady who's a amputee with 2 teen sons. She can't drive. They put everything together and took her to them for me. But this is across the board. They were showing lines in Barberton on the news, and the lines at the food pantries is something you've never seen.
Right?
It's across the board. And county executive Eileen Shapiro, she put $250,000 into the Akron Canton Food Bank so they get more food over there. The city council just passed an ordinance for $100,000 to put more to have food at the food banks. But I don't know how much longer this is going to last, because here's the thing. For someone like me who works at the court and I see evictions every day, these landlords aren't going to wait. So if you aren't getting a check because you've been furloughed or you work for the government, they're not going to wait. They're not going to wait. You're going to get evicted. These utility companies in Akron right now, their shut-offs coming. Cleveland just passed ordinance. Someone just sent it to me this afternoon, where they put a moratorium on utilities. They're not turning anybody's utilities off until this is over. Sure. We have to do the same here. Okay. It has to be the same here, but there also has to be a conversation with these landlords. Yeah. Although we do put in there's a moratorium that begins on December 3rd, where the judges have signed off, where there's no evictions in December. They don't even come back online until the new year, because they just aren't evicting people during the Christmas. So a lot of landlords are trying to hurry and get their evictions in before the holidays because they know there's a moratorium. But once that moratorium is over, and you're going to get evicted if we are still in this government shutdown. Wow. And you can feel the effects. Families are just going to have to help each other. Yeah. I know Aldi's has a big program they're doing for the holidays, where you get this whole big bundle for Thanksgiving for $40. And I've been sitting at, and people have been sharing it like crazy, because this is where we are now. Now, every year, this will be my 3rd year where my nonprofit, we do a Thanksgiving drive where we do the whole bundle. We do the turkey, we do the canned goods, we do the whole spread for them. And so, unfortunately, my hope is, knock on wood, a lot of those agencies who normally donate to our nonprofit to buy the things, everybody is strapped right now. Right. Because it's a problem. We've got issues going on. So, being on the phone with them saying, hey, listen, I'm going to have at least 100 people going to show up again this year. I'm self-funded outside of the donations that come in. Like when we're getting ready to have community events, then the donations come in. But on a consistent level, trying to do the grants and stuff here in the city, there's just like these little pots, and they've had the same people that they give everything to. And it's like everybody's fighting for money out of the same pots. Yeah, so it's just like, okay, am I going to wait around, or am I just going to try to figure it out and put my own resources in and get on the phone and start calling people? So I usually just get on the phone and start calling people, because I understand how that system works. I've watched it for 10 years and I watch it. And so if I wait around and wait for them to give something, to help somebody, I'm going to wait. So why? I just figure it out.
Does that come through the B&V too? Is that
yes, that's my nonprofit, B&V, right. Family Community Resource House. Yep, named it after my parents.
Right.
When they passed away. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, Brian and Valdez, but
yep.
Yeah, I'm aware that I'm on. I told you things like that get me going, and I was talking about like turkey giveaways and things like that, and getting involved in them. And
Yeah.
I might want to talk to you about that because
Okay.
it's something I'm pretty set on wanting to do. And we've talked about it. And it's something I think, anytime for me and us, is giving back to the community, man. It's somewhere we can help.
Absolutely.
Your son's football game.
Well, my son, Jay Jr., before he passed away years ago, used to have the Thanksgiving All-Star game. And it was held on Thanksgiving morning.
Yep.
All those kids in Summit County in the city were invited to All-Stars. Him and his friend Jake had started it. And we raised it. All the money we made from it was just on people coming and giving canned food, things on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And we play it. And what we would do after is any money we had, we donated to that canned food campaign. And he was very high on that. Now that he's passed away, I'm looking at a way of kind of like doing it in his name, something that he'd be proud of, and
absolutely.
And I would like to, get involved in something like that. And we were talking about it, and I'm just kind of kicking around now, but there's something I'm going to do. So
absolutely. So Keith, let's stay in the loop on that. So our drive, we're doing at the Resource House, which was my parents' home. I turned into the Resource House on November 22nd. And we start at 9 a.m. in the morning, and we just go until we run out of everything.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. It's been pretty cool. It's been pretty phenomenal. 1290 7th Avenue.
Okay. And that's November 22nd.
Yep.
Go ahead, Phil. I'm sorry.
No. That's what I wanted to ask, actually. Where it's located.
Yeah, because,
Cool.
I'm going to definitely contact you.
Okay.
What
y'all drinking over there? What is that?
I'm drinking. This is an old fashioned. I'm an old man, so this is an old fashioned. I know this.
This is good old H2O. I need one of those.
Good old Diet Coke.
I knew I should have put this on the store. All right, so I wanted to ask you. There's a whole lot of stuff going on in the city. What do you consider Akron's greatest needs or most pressing need right now? I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on: crime reduction, resources, obviously development. Crime is always going to take front page of the paper.
Yeah, absolutely.
That happened recently. Just give me your take on what do you think Akron's most pressing needs are?
Well, of course, crime is the number one. We've got to do something about the gun violence here. We have a culture for gun violence with our young people that is just, it's across the country. So even when people say they want to leave Akron, I can't wait to leave here. And I said, so y'all think these guns don't travel? I mean, they're everywhere. You can leave here and I can guarantee you wherever you go, the same thing is happening because the NRA runs this country. The guns are everywhere. And the problem is, it's not the legal gun owners that's the issue. It's these young people getting their hands on weapons. And so, of course, that right there has been one of the biggest issues. But housing, we've got to do something about the housing stock here. You can't expect first of all, if you don't get the crime rate down, no one's going to want to move here. So we got to figure out this crime before we can start building all these houses everywhere, because if somebody pulls the crime index, they're going to be like, whoa, what's going on in Akron? But again, this is going on across the country. Can't buy a house if you don't have a job. So those three things all go together. Got to do something about the crime. We need some jobs. How you going to buy a house without a job?
That's right.
So, and it has got to be, everybody has up the signs, $15 an hour, $17 an hour. Really, you got to almost have to make like $24 an hour to have a livable wage at this point. And both parents in the household got to be working. Right now, you got a parent in the house and kids helping now. You got a teenager working, trying to help keep the bills paid. Because the rent is so high. We definitely need rent control for sure. We've got a lot of out-of-state landlords who we've got houses over on Chittenden Street. It's in the middle of the neighborhood I grew up in. Landlords charging $1,300. That's insane. That's insane. But this is the wave that we're in now. And will that rent come down? I don't know. It just seemed like that's just where we're headed, but there has to be jobs associated with it. So crime, housing, jobs, those are my top three. Economic development is all of that. If you don't have jobs, how can you develop a city and build houses for people to buy? Because they won't be able to afford them.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Is this does this come from within? I mean, when you look at our political infrastructure, how does this happen? Where do we start? I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, you got to make it welcoming, and you've got to make sure that you have the structure in place that is going to be welcoming for an outside developer or an outside business to want to move here. And again, that all goes back to you've got to figure out how you're going to control the crime index.
Hey.
Because if I'm a Fortune 500 company, you can't expect me to try to come here and set up shop when we have a crime issue.
Yeah.
And it's not really just the Christ of guns. Like, you don't really hear about like other kind of crime. You don't hear about people robbing all kind of banks now, people breaking in houses. And I mean, you get the B&Es, and those are young people breaking in houses to steal guns. It's the guns. And we have a state house that is Republican controlled. They love their guns.
Yeah.
And so I can't tell you how many resolutions during my time on council that we sent down to Columbus trying to get them to do background checks, making sure people don't have mental health disparities, making sure we get rid of bump stocks and trigger cramps. They're still everywhere. And then the ghost guns are everywhere. Yeah. So those are just things that, for me, that's what I perceive, that those are the top three things that we definitely have to work on. People want to talk about building up the downtown. You can keep building up downtown and building all of this expensive housing in downtown. You can build it, but if you can, this is not Field of Dreams. You build it and they'll come. You can build it, but if there ain't no jobs, they're not coming.
Yeah.
When I go back to guns too, maybe I have this real stupid thought, but if you look at our country compared to other countries and guns, and the other countries may be a lot older than America, but they learn. They have gun laws. They have gun rules.
Yes.
They don't have. Now, my big thing is, if you're a hunter, you have a gun. If you have a pistol or shotgun or whatever you do to hunt. Now, when you talk about AKs and things like that, that's only meant to kill people.
That's it. Those are weapons of war. You're not using those to go hunting.
If they want to have those, right. They want to have them at a gun range. All right, you can own it, but at a gun range, so you can have that weapon, but you can only shoot it at the gun range. All right, so there you can have that weapon, but you can't be in the house with it. You can't be down the street with it. So you have less of those on the street, and you see it in other countries. We're just, like you said, controlled by the NRA. That said, we don't give a shit. Be honest. Kill.
The problem
we got money.
We're an open carry state now. So in a stand your ground state, which I've not seen anyone win a case on the stand your ground law yet, but we are a stand your ground open carry state. People will be shocked to hear me say this because I am not a gun person. I do not like guns. I did Shoot or Don't Shoot for, I think it was 19 Action News a few years back. I should never own a gun. I was shooting everything. I should never, ever. I was like, I didn't like any of it. I thank God I didn't shoot anybody to kill them, but I kept shooting. And I was like, I don't need to ever own a gun because, I mean, it just really bothered me. But then I, again, am somebody who grew up in a neighborhood where I seen one of our childhood friends get shot in front of us. And it just changed my whole thought process as to who owns a gun. My dad was a veteran, never seen a gun in our house, not one day ever. I'm sure there was one there, but I never saw it because it was out of sight, out of mind. My husband's a veteran. We all know guns. I don't like guns. He knows I don't like guns. Both my son-in-laws.
Yeah.
These are young men who did time in Afghanistan. They don't have guns in their houses because they know what they've dealt with during that time when they were, overseas. So they don't have them in their houses either. Not to say that you shouldn't own a gun, absolutely. But you got to be mindful if you have children or grandchildren in the house, because that's one of the biggest things, the accidental shootings, little kids finding a gun laying in the house and somebody end up accidentally shooting somebody or shooting themselves. So there has to be background checks to that, making sure that you're securing them in the house, making sure you got locks on them. But here's the one thing I believe that will help control some of it outside of these young people getting guns. We got to work on these laws. When these young people keep getting caught with guns over and over again, they get a slap on the wrist, they back out again, they end up becoming a victim or a defendant. And this is to be true. And so they got to work on that part of it with the law. Like you can't keep slapping them on the wrist because they just keep doing it. However, I do believe that if someone is a nonviolent offender, they should be able to legally own a gun. And I think that that would change a lot of things because I know a lot of older men who have felonies that come home and they're just like, these young kids is out of control. I'm not about to not have a gun. These kids running up on people. I just think legally, if they are nonviolent, a nonviolent returning citizen, they should legally, not illegal,
Right.
legally own a gun. And so then we don't have to worry about now you got a weapons under disability charge for them. And now they going back into the system. And this is where that recidivism comes from and all. Just let them own a gun legally. And we're not talking about letting the person who went to jail because they had a felonious assault or they did something that involved a gun or was a violent offense. Absolutely not. But there are people who really are out here afraid of these young people. They are afraid of these young people.
Yeah, well, we talked earlier about that Bath incident, which was, primarily, not entirely young people. And I don't know if you heard today, but there was a assistant principal who was found liable when a 6-year-old brought a gun to school and shot his teacher.
Yeah, they sued. I think it was like for $10 million.
Yeah.
It's
Super got 10. Yeah. I don't know how to get $10 million out of an assistant principal.
No, they were better off schooling the school system. That the assistant principal, they should have sued the school. That's low hanging fruit going to the assistant principal. That didn't make any sense to me when I read that. I was like, oh, somebody didn't advise them well because you should have been to school. These kids with these guns, and it's just like they treat life like it's a video game.
Yeah.
Once you shoot somebody, you take that life, your life is over. And now you've left your parents out here, your family out here to deal with your actions because now you have the retaliation. You have people wanting to come and get back at you because of something somebody else in your family did. And that's a real thing around here. It's a real thing.
You said, like, I think people they get hardened as young kids that this is going on and the value of life or things are going on are just not really cared about. So maybe happens.
Not only do they get hardened, they just don't know any better.
Right,
They're kids, you know what I mean? And they just don't have the capacity yet.
Right.
The brain isn't fully formed yet to understand.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But they're said earlier,
to understand what they're doing.
It's a culture. I mean, she hit it on the head.
It's the culture. And I mean, we did not have access to the things that they have access for. So when people try to compare our childhoods to this new generation, I said, listen, this is apples to oranges. We did not have cell phones. We didn't have social media. Maybe we would have been just as off the hook as they are, but we didn't have those things. They have technology is driving all of this. It is driving every last one. And then when you have parents, well, you got a parent that's working 2 and 3 jobs just because they're trying to keep the rent paid. They're never at home. You got kids in the house babysitting their siblings. They just out here in the world trying to figure things out. And this is where the problem starts. And then now you have people are like, I mean, even with the stuff in Bath, I see people putting up, where are those parents at? Where are them parents? Most of them kids who was at that party were of age to be there. Right. The girl who the party was for, she was 21. Most of those kids were grown. One of the girls, the youngest person that was shot was 15. Everybody else was grown. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know who she came with, but she came with somebody because she didn't drive herself. Mm-hmm. But most of the people at that party, these were adults. So when we talk about where are the parents, them parents is at work. And then we talking about all the way out in Bath, when they were showing the cars that was leaving from there, we weren't talking about just our neighborhood kids. These kids was driving Range Rovers, the Teslas. Right. And so when you hear this noise, like, we know what kids these were, and I was like, oh, so that's what y'all think this is. Okay. So now the kids aren't even allowed to go anywhere because you have this perception that these are those kids doing. It was a mixture of kids there and apparently an uninvited guest who came there looking for somebody and a whole bunch of other people paid the price for it.
Yeah. That's what it sounded like.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just, again, until we do something about these guns and curbing the gun violence around here, you know, we've got a heavy lift to do before we can start talking about all the other stuff. And you know, we got to figure out a way to get more people to actually want to become police officers, and having police officers who actually look like the community.
Right.
You know, you can't continue to have police officers that come from parts of the state who've never been around minorities, and then you want to dump them in the middle of a minority community and expect them not to have some kind of anxiety about that. They're going to.
Yeah.
That's human nature. They're going to.
Yeah.
And so when you say that, people say, well, it shouldn't be like that. No, it shouldn't. But if you've never been around a certain culture, a certain community, you don't know certain things that you may consider aggressive. We don't consider aggressive because that's just how we are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I remember when we had reimagining public safety, and I co-chaired that committee, and I said that we should have a black officer and a white officer, a minority officer and a white officer in a car. We need to mix it up so they can learn from one another. And so then you can start having teachable moments with them, so then they'll know how to deal with those communities. And it really was disappointing to me because it was a black officer who's now retired who told me that was a terrible idea.
Oh,
Right.
jeez.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought that was brilliant. I was like, because they'll learn from each other. And you know, they have this thing where they don't do that. Well, we pair people the way we think it should be paired, but that's again a problem.
Right.
In my district, that when I was the Ward 5 person, I didn't have any black officers in the whole entire district. And my ward went across the entire city and touched every part of the city except for West Akron.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is a problem. I had
Road and Wilbert and
I was all of East Akron. I had part of the South Side, cut through downtown, and a majority of the North Side. It touched every part of the city except for West Akron. Yeah.
Okay.
And so, but again, I had a very transient ward where a lot of people move. Majority of them are renters,
Right.
you know, so, you know, people moved a lot.
And the North Side has a different population of people over there. I mean,
Oh yeah. It's very, very diverse.
Right.
And it's I love it though. I love it. I love the people in North Hill. There are some really, really nice people. They're very genuine. And you know, I think a lot of people, I remember having a ward meeting with a previous council person. And it became, I talked about this because it was when Charlie Brown, God rest his soul, he just passed away. We had a joint ward meeting and it got really racial and really contentious. And it was so uncomfortable. You can feel the tension in the air. And he was livid. And I was just like, we didn't have no officers or anybody there because we didn't expect any of this to transpire like this. So he ended up staying and John Valley ended up staying.
Okay.
And then one of the reverends who was a pastoring, Reverend Wallace, he stepped in to try to, you know, curb some of the tension, and he did a really good job of it. He said, anyone in this room Native American, raise their hand.
Yeah.
He was the only one who could raise his hand in that room.
Wow.
And he says, this don't belong to none of y'all.
Right.
Right.
And once he started that, and they were like, those people, those people, tell them this. And I said, but these are teachable moments. If you see, okay, they got their clothes on the banisters, then go show them how to put a clothesline in the backyard. You come here griping about something that was an easy fix.
Right.
It was an easy fix. And it's just like, it's unfortunate that they're like that, but it's a beautiful thing to watch how North Hill is now being transitioned and all of the stores that they have bought up here. They own most of the stores on North Main Street. They've just got to work on that racial divide up here, because once you hit North Main Street, if you head west, you head into the black community. If you head south, you're dealing with a lot more of the immigrant community. Than if you head further up, you know, north, then you got a part of the white neighborhood. I'm probably getting my north, south, east, west mixed up, but they've
Yeah.
got to work on that because then it's just like there's this divide up there that they've got to really work on because you have black people who feel like we've been here, y'all ignoring us now, and then you've got the white community. Most of them are the Italian community. They feel like this is ours, and they're coming here and it's a lot, but you watch. There's just a very, very nice groups of people, whether they're the Nepalis, the Bhutanese people. They've got a Congolese. There's a big Congolese community that has built up here as well. So it's what makes America.
Yeah.
It's what makes this country great. So, when people get all in a bunch about racial issues, I'm just like, none of this belongs to us. Your ancestors came here by choice, ours came by force. So, none of us own any of this. We all just here trying to, find a way so we can make sure we have something to leave for the next generation. So, I don't know. It seems like they tried to say racism was terrible under Obama. No, it's terrible under Trump.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The racism, they have come out in full
Oh yeah.
hard R's, and they
got
just
approved.
Hard R's.
they just the dialect and the tone that they have with people, and then you watch people put up the videos of just they really believe that they belong and they own all of this, and we're just temporary, and we all are going to be deported. Well, I don't know where they're deporting us to, but let me know when y'all find out.
I hear you.
Did you have anything?
I'm good.
I was going to save this question for the end. We talked a little bit about this earlier. You just, you're on fire. And I was wondering, would you consider at some point running for mayor? Because you have everything, leadership, you have the passion, you got the love for community, you got the fire. And I just think you'd be tailor-made. You are really, we were calling you a firecracker earlier.
Well, I tried that before, and y'all need to work on your brothers here in the city because they don't seem to like to support women. So y'all need to work on that. Them exit polls told me things that was very disappointing. I just, I love my city. I've never been one of those people like,
look at what happened even in the.
Right. Oh yeah, it's a new day. It's for sure a new day. I love my city, and any way that I can serve the community that I was born and raised in, I've never had a desire to leave, but to just make it better for my children and grandchildren, their friends, and so forth. So, will I run for office again at some point? Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. What that will be, we'll see.
Good.
But I'll definitely run again for sure.
Well, I'll tell you, Tara, I've only been back in Ohio for a year. I was in Maryland for 35 years, so I don't know Akron.
You left Maryland? Your governor is the bomb.
He is, isn't he? He absolutely is. So, what can you say? But I have a classmate that's here who sent me an article that was written by the Beacon. I want to say it was an endorsement article on you. She is a relative of another candidate that was running for mayor. I won't give the name because it's a fairly familiar name, but she said, the hell with that. Look at you and make sure that I post something on Facebook that highlights what, even though I was living in Maryland, she said she wanted me to post that article about you so the people in Akron could make sure that they saw that. So you got at least, I want to say, 2 more votes. All right, it's coming your way when the time comes again.
Well, I appreciate that. I just, I envision Akron to be a place where when our kids go away to school, they'll want to come back home. That's the Akron that I envision. And so, we'll see one day. I'm not that old. I got some time still on my side.
Got the fire. We got it. All right. Any closing?
No, I appreciate it. I'm glad we got this time.
I am
to
too.
do this.
I am too. I told her we've been chasing you forever.
Yeah.
Listen, this is
Here
like
I am
a,
now, and I'm,
Yeah.
you know, I am making sure that I make time
Yes.
for the things that are important, and this is important.
Good, good. Well, it's not like you've been twiddling your thumbs. We know you're busy. We see you. We definitely see you. So,
Yeah,
the
it's
fact,
okay. I still got to do the things that's right.
yeah. So the fact that you took time
Absolutely.
out for us, we could not be more pleased for that. So, this was really enjoyable. Listen,
Yeah.
we got some work to do.
Okay.
November the 22nd,
22nd.
1297th Avenue. We're going to be in touch with you about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We want to, be more than just a podcast. We want to make an impact in the city.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We talk it. We want to walk it. So
I like that.
we're gonna connect with you. But thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me. I
Thank
really
you so much.
appreciate it. And make sure once you guys are done with your editing, you send me a link so I can send it out.
all right, we got it.
We will. And make
All right.
sure you shout out on Facebook that you met.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. We will do likewise.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right, take care.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right.